I'm Allison, and I am currently a master's student here at UW in Weeks Hall. I'm studying a master's in structural geology, particularly, that's my focus, and working with Dr. Laurel Goodwin and Dr. Phil Brown. And my journey here has been rather long, kind of a windy road with a few forks in the road too. But initially I started off as, I got my bachelor's at University of the Pacific in Central California. And while I was there, I studied communication and business. You might wonder, how did I get to geoscience? And sometimes I wonder the same thing. But when I was a senior at UOP, I took a geoscience class. I took Geology of California, and I just fell in love with it. And I think when you talk to a lot of geologists, they say the same thing. They took one class and loved it, or maybe somebody like along the way introduced them to geoscience. And anyway, so that's what happened to me. But because it was so late in my bachelor's degree, I couldn't really stay and maybe add a major or a minor or anything like that. I didn't have the time for it or the money. So I ended up graduating that spring. I took a job in marketing, working in the Silicon Valley, which was not a bad experience, but for the year and a half that I worked there and I was sitting in that cubicle, I just wanted to be outside, and I wanted to be outdoors and studying the earth and the world around us, and that's what really gets me excited. So after about a year and a half of working in the Silicon Valley, I ended up quitting my job, moving back in with my parents, and I went back to community college because that was the easiest way for me to take all the math and the science classes that I didn't need for my bachelor's degree. So that was 2 years of taking classes at community college and being back home, and it was a really interesting experience, and also working in retail at the same time, which in and of its own was awesome because I ended up working at REI and meeting people who also enjoyed the outdoors just like I did. So after 2 years of community college, I knew that it was time for me to go ahead and take the chance and apply to graduate school and see if I could get in with a bachelor's in communication and an associate's in geology. I was like, well, maybe they'll take me, maybe they won't. So when I got accepted to UW, I couldn't believe it. It was really overwhelming and exciting for me. And I came to visit, and I fell in love with the department and the people here. And I never thought in a million years that I would move to Wisconsin. But here I am, and it's really grown on me, and I love it a lot. Yeah, so that's kind of how I got here, and now I'm kind of exploring this mesh between studying science and also sticking to my roots with communication and exploring my interest in science communication. So that's really important to me as well. One of the things that has been really hard for me throughout my life, and I think a lot of people struggle with this, is seeing yourself as somebody who is growing and constantly changing rather than I am this person, I am not good at math, or I'm not good at science, and these are just things that I am and have to deal with. One of the most rewarding things for me was realizing that I am not one person. I am constantly evolving and changing. And I went from thinking that I wasn't good at science or math to thinking that I was, and having that growth mindset has been really, really rewarding for me.